What is going on, guys? We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. Going to be breaking down the game tonight, guys. We have football on our television screens in a little under 2.5 hours. There's going to be real football happening on real television screens. No more preseason, guys. It has been a crazy day of NFL news. There's a lot to go over. We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube. We're going to be talking some DraftKings and FanDuel lineups on this live stream. We're going to be talking who you should be starting, who you should be sitting. And I do think one of the biggest questions I'm seeing just in like the last 2 hours, and it does make sense, is about Tyson Williams. Must start week 1. We got to talk about Tyson Williams. And we are live, guys, on YouTube and TikTok. I'll be trying to answer questions on both YouTube and TikTok, but I do have to admit the YouTube comment section is a little less spammy. So I do think it's a little easier to get your comment answered, but I will try to get to as many comments as I can. Guys, Tyson Williams is the clear running back 1 for the Ravens heading into week 1. I don't know how we got here. We had a Justice Hill injury. We had a Gus Edwards injury today. And we also had a J.K. Dobbins injury, which I feel like happened so long ago, people forget. The top 3 running backs for the Ravens out for the season, confirmed. So Tyson Williams, an undrafted running back in 2020, is going to be the starting running back for the Baltimore Ravens in week 1. Now, they went out and they signed Le'Veon Bell and they signed Devonta Freeman. They actually signed Le'Veon Bell before Devonta Freeman, but Devonta Freeman's the one that's actually practiced and been in NFL preseasons. So it's very hard to know who's going to be the lead back. I expect this to be a committee all season. I like Tyson Williams the most. I think he is worth starting in week 1. They have a pretty good matchup week 1 against the Raiders Monday night. So I do like Tyson Williams this week because Devonta Freeman and Le'Veon Bell probably won't be able to get up to speed fast enough. But long-term, I don't love any of these Baltimore Ravens running backs, and I wouldn't go trade for them. And I would not overvalue them too much. We got a good question in the chat here that I want to, is there a free player prop pick? Is there a free player prop pick? Tim, when we hit 200 likes on the YouTube live stream, there will be a free player prop pick. This is how it's going to go. When we hit 200 likes on the YouTube live stream, we will have a free player prop pick given out. That's all that we need to do. We just need to hit 200 likes on the YouTube live. So smash the like button. We're already like 1/20th of the way there. So hit the like button on YouTube, hit 200 likes. You will get a free player prop pick. All right. We got a good question in the chat here about whether or not you should be starting Jalen Hurts over Russell Wilson. And I know I was live earlier today, but I will reiterate. Jalen Hurts is the lock of week 1. You have to start Jalen Hurts. There's only 4 quarterbacks I would be starting over Jalen Hurts in week 1 in fantasy football. It is the top 4 QBs that were drafted in your league: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. That's it. End of list. Those are the only guys I'd be starting over Jalen Hurts. I have Jalen Hurts ranked as my number 5 quarterback heading into week 1. He gets the Atlanta Falcons. It's not like I'm saying Jalen Hurts is the top 5 quarterback in the league. He's up against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, guys, their defense might have somehow, some way gotten worse this offseason. I'm honestly not sure if that's actually possible because they were bottom 5 off defense in the league last season. But I talked to Andrew, our Falcons WalterPicks content creator. By the way, you got to go follow him if you're not, because he's crushing it. But he thinks their defense might have somehow gotten worse, and there's nobody more in tune with the Falcons than him. So I'm nervous about the Falcons defense, but excited for them in terms of fantasy and what it means for Jalen Hurts in week 1. So yeah, start Jalen Hurts unless you're starting him over Mahomes, Murray, Lamar, or Josh Allen. This is an interesting one. DeAndre Swift or Mike Davis. There was some very, very concerning speculation reports about DeAndre Swift today. I'm not going to talk too much about that situation until we know more, but it does look like DeAndre Swift is playing week 1, and it does look like he's going to get his full workload week 1. So I would go DeAndre Swift over Mike Davis. And guys, we are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. Our link to our YouTube is in the TikTok bio. Also, you can just look up WalterPicks on YouTube. I'll be live right up for the next hour and 20 minutes, right up till 7:30. I'm very excited because we have football on our television screens in less than 3 hours, like 2.5 hours. Is there any way that Gus Edwards did not tear his ACL? I would be very surprised. It seems like with the reports like this, almost always when you see a non-contact knee injury that's immediately speculated as ACL, like the trainers know that there's very clear tests for ACL injuries. So I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't tear his ACL. It looks like Gus Edwards out for the season. Very disappointing. Very disappointing news. It's not the news I want to be delivering on the opening night of football, but this is where we are. What Bucs wide receivers are you starting? This is a good question. This is a very good question. There's all the Bucs receivers should probably be started tonight. The Dallas Cowboys secondary, though, did get better this offseason. They did. They added a couple of different players who actually didn't play most of last season, but are good in the secondary. So I think they could be improved, but they were bottom 5 secondary in the league last year. They really did struggle against the run the most, though. Micah Parsons should help out with that. I think that I'm starting all Buccaneers wide receivers tonight, though, but the guy I like the most, and the guy you absolutely do not want to be benching in week 1, it's Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, guys, was the number 1 targeted receiver for the Buccaneers in the games he played in last season. He only played the back half of the season. And when you look at the story of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, it really is a tale of 2 seasons. There's the first half of the season where the Buccaneers really were trying to figure it out. They had a couple of really bad losses. Their defense wasn't as good as it was in the second half, but their offense in particular was not playing at an elite level. They were like a middle of the pack offense. They were still leading the league in deep passing attempts per game, which I love, and I think is a good strategy for them. And I think it's why you got to like all the Buccaneers receivers tonight. But then the second half of the season, which happens to coincide with exactly when Antonio Brown joined the team, the offense starts clicking and they become a top 3 offense in the NFL and one of the most dangerous passing offenses in the NFL. And they continue to lead the league in deep attempts per game. So yeah, the Buccaneers are a tale of 2 teams, 2 seasons. And if they can do what they did in the back half of last season tonight and for long stretches during the season, you got to be very scared of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this NFL season. And it's why you got to like all the receivers. But I like Antonio Brown the most. And I don't think it's a coincidence. We saw the overlap of the Buccaneers' success last season with when Antonio Brown arrived. Ryan's asking a good question here. Hey, Sam, love the content. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Ryan. Been around for over a year now. Wow, man. I can't believe it's been a year, Ryan. I do appreciate that. Would you start Damien Harris, DeAndre Swift, or Tyson Williams? Well, I would certainly feel bad. I would not feel good about starting Tyson Williams over either of these guys. Tyson Williams, that being said, his best week could be week 1 because he's probably going to have the least competition that he will have in week 1. But Tyson Williams, guys, is not better than Damien Harris, and he's not better than DeAndre Swift. Tyson Williams, what you got to understand about these Ravens backs, they're not going to catch passes. So, like, even though Damien Harris is unlikely to catch even 2 passes in this game, week 1, he probably will have under 1 catch in the majority of games this season. He's not going to have a big receiving role. But Tyson Williams won't either. Lamar Jackson just does not throw to his running backs. That was the biggest knock on J.K. Dobbins heading into this season. It's why I didn't love Gus Edwards before the injury today, and it's why I don't love Tyson Williams or Le'Veon Bell or Devonta Smith. By the way, guys, Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Smith, they have been confirmed washed for over 6 months now. So don't get too excited about Le'Veon Bell or Devonta Freeman either. I would go Damien Harris over Tyson Williams, but in a PPR league, I think I'd go Swift over Damien Harris as well. If it's not a PPR league, though, Ryan, I think I'd probably go Damien Harris. Good question, though, and definitely not an easy answer. And guys, I also helped build an app called WalterPicks that can also help you with your start-sit decisions, Ryan. I know you probably have to check that out before as well. So I do appreciate the support. All right. I'm seeing a lot of Tyson Williams questions, which is not that surprising because if you're listening to this live stream, you're probably an above average fantasy football player, which means you're on top of the news, which means you probably got Tyson Williams on your team for completely free. All right. I want to get back to the game tonight because I believe, and if you've been following me for a while, you know, I don't really bet on spreads very frequently. And if I do, I'm not going to bet that much. The things that I do risk a lot of money on are player props and fantasy sports in general. I will risk a decent amount on DraftKings and FanDuel this season, but I do like talking about the spreads because the spreads are very interesting. They're always very interesting. And the spread tonight is the Cowboys +9 against the Buccaneers. It started at 7.5, and I've seen it move as high as +9. The Cowboys are 9-point underdogs tonight. If I had to choose which side of the spread I'm going with, I think I'd go with the Dallas Cowboys as 9-point underdogs. The Dallas Cowboys, you have to understand the context of their season last year to fully understand the value of the Dallas Cowboys and how good they could be this season. I've been saying this all offseason. You have to put in context the season of last year. Dak Prescott goes down week 5 or week 6. He only played like 5 games last year. Obviously, that had a huge impact on things. If he's fully healthy, this offense has a chance to be top 3 in scoring. But not only did Dak go down, the offensive line was also basically duct taped together for the most of the back half of last season for the Cowboys. They didn't have 3 of their starting 5 offensive linemen for the majority of the back half of last season. And then on top of all of that, Ezekiel Elliott himself was dealing with injuries for the back half of last season. There's a lot of people out there that are arguing Tony Pollard is better than Ezekiel Elliott. And they're saying that because if you just watch the games from last season, and I've watched all of them, Tony Pollard looked better just based on the eye test. He had way more burst than Zeke, but Zeke was dealing with an injury. So you have to take that into context. So with all of that context, I feel like the Cowboys, and I don't think I've ever said this before in my entire life, I feel like the Cowboys are an underrated team heading into this season based just only on the context from last season. People don't realize they don't remember how good this offense was in the first 5 weeks of the season. They were on a historic pace, and Zach Martin's out tonight, which isn't going to be good for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't feel good about picking the Cowboys in this game. I actually think a 9-point spread is really accurate, and I expect the Buccaneers to win. But if I'm picking the spread, I think there's a chance, at least a small chance, the Cowboys offense keeps up with the Buccaneers offense tonight, in which case they're going to cover the spread. But all that being said, Zach Martin being out, huge deal for the Dallas Cowboys against this Buccaneers defense. The Buccaneers front 7, their defensive line and like middle linebackers, arguably the best front 7 in the NFL. That's how good this defense is. They're going to be without one of their starting safeties, but this front 7 is scary. We saw it in the Super Bowl. We saw it really in the entire back half of last season. So not the team you want to be missing Zach Martin for. I think it's going to be a tough game for Zeke in terms of his rushing. You still got to start Zeke, obviously, in fantasy because he was your first-round pick, and he still has receiving upside and tons of touchdown upside. But that being said, not the matchup you're hoping for week 1 for Ezekiel Elliott. Okay. Someone's asking Marquez Callaway or Mike Williams full PPR. This is a tough one. I like Marquez Callaway a lot. I would bet my money that Marquez Callaway gets more targets than Mike Williams. So just based on that alone, I would lean Marquez Callaway for that reason. If it's not a PPR league, though, if it's more like a half PPR league, Mike Williams to me has more touchdown upside and just more of like high upside in terms of his big playability. So I would probably go Mike Williams, half PPR, non-PPR, Callaway in PPR. It's close, though. Callaway could be a really, really good player in PPR leagues this season, guys, especially in the first half of the season with Michael Thomas out. Hi, Sam. Do I drop Mike Williams for Jamison Elite Crowder? No, you don't. Jamison Elite Crowder, he's off Amar. He's off to a tough start this season, which I'm not pumped about. He's on the COVID list. He's probably looking like he's going to miss week 1. It's not confirmed yet, though. But he's going to return to elite status sooner rather than later. But he's going to stay on the waiver wire. Nobody else is looking for him. So I wouldn't go rush for Jamison Elite Crowder. Someone's asking Antonio Brown or Miles Sanders. You almost have to go with Antonio Brown here, but it's not easy because Miles Sanders also has a really good matchup. Miles Sanders up against the Atlanta Falcons this week. They have a really bad secondary, but also a very, very suspect run defense as well. I think Miles Sanders is the safer play. Miles Sanders is almost definitely going to go over 10 fantasy points this week. I actually love Miles Sanders on DraftKings and FanDuel. Miles Sanders, all of a sudden, everyone started disliking Miles Sanders all at the same time. It felt like this offseason. When I first started drafting, I was doing fantasy drafts because I'm a degenerate and I love drafting fantasy football teams. I was drafting on underdog best ball teams. Literally, I'm not kidding, 4 months ago when they first started. And Miles Sanders at that time was a 3rd-round pick. He was literally getting drafted in the 3rd round of drafts. And by the end of the draft season, like today, Miles Sanders, like a 6th-round pick, 5th-round pick. So he really fell. And I think he became a value later in the offseason. I didn't like him in the 3rd round. I didn't hate him in the 5th and 6th round, though. Miles Sanders is the clear running back 1 on the Philadelphia Eagles. And he doesn't have that much receiving upside. And he might not get the type of workload that some of the earlier running backs get. But the offensive line for the Eagles could also be much better this season. And the Falcons week 1, I would be pretty surprised if he doesn't score at least 10 points. I think he's actually really safe. So I'd say ceiling is Antonio Brown. I absolutely love Antonio Brown. So don't let me talk you out of Antonio Brown. But floor, I would go with Miles Sanders. All right. Hey, Sam, how you doing? Thanks for asking, man. I'm doing really well. Should I start Ayuk or – let me see if I can scroll back up. Should I start Ayuk? I keep losing it. Should I start Ayuk? I got this, guys. Should I start Ayuk or Anderson week 1? That's a tough one. I would probably go Robbie Anderson over Brandon Ayuka, the bazooka. If you notice in the WalterPicks app, guys, there's like a little rocket next to Brandon Ayuk because we've coined him Brandon Ayuka, the bazooka. I absolutely love that nickname. It's sticking. But I do think I would go with Robbie Anderson in week 1. Robbie Anderson, I posted a video about him the other day. People don't realize how consistent he was last season and just how good he was in the beginning of the season too. Robbie Anderson has very high weekly upside. He has wide receiver 1, top 12 wide receiver upside every single week. And the revenge game is also too hard to ignore. The Robbie Anderson revenge game is going to be a lot of fun. Guys, we are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube right now. Look up YouTube on YouTube, WalterPicks, or in our TikTok bio, click on the YouTube link. When we hit 200 likes on the YouTube live stream, we have over 200 people tuned in right now, by the way, so we can definitely hit it. When we hit 200 likes on the YouTube live stream, we're going to be giving out our free player prop pick, our first free player prop pick of the season. And I got to say, while I'm not going to guarantee results for the free player prop picks, last season, we missed on only 2 free player prop picks the entire season. The accuracy of the free props specifically was absolutely unmatched. It was insane. We literally went like 15 out of 17 on the free player props. So I want to get the good vibes going this season, keep that streak going. And to do that, we got to hit 200 likes on the YouTube live stream. And we're almost there. We are actually almost there. We're at almost 50. So we're almost a fourth of the way there. We're not a fourth of the way through the stream. So we're on a good pace. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button too if you're watching live on YouTube. And guys, they actually added a like button to TikTok as well. They added a like button to TikTok as well. And so hit the like button on TikTok too. I do appreciate it. It is exciting to see the likes come in. All right. Getting back to some of the questions. Wasn't David Montgomery one of the losses of the prop? Yeah, I think he was. I think that one of the losses was like a brutally close loss, Luke, but that does sound about right to me. Does Trey Sermon drop over 10 points this week? If you're setting the Trey Sermon fantasy points over under at 10 points this week, I'm going with the over. I think he's going to go over 10 points. I absolutely love Trey Sermon and Raheem Mostert this week. Trey Sermon's up against the Detroit Lions, the worst defense in the NFL. It's them or it's the Texans. Or they're definitely bottom 5. So I like Trey Sermon. I like Raheem Mostert a lot. If you're in a survival pool, by the way, week 1, I don't know how you don't pick the 49ers. There is not a single game that would shock me more than the Lions beating the 49ers. There's just almost no way the Lions can beat the 49ers. The 49ers are better in literally every single spot on the team. Their quarterback is better. Their receivers are significantly better. The Lions have one of the worst receiver group I've personally ever seen in my 5 years of covering the NFL. I would be shocked if the 49ers lost that game. And I think there could be like a 2-touchdown lead early in that game. So you got to love Raheem Mostert. And later in the game too, you have to love Trey Sermon. I think Trey Sermon and Raheem Mostert both have a realistic path to 15 plus carries this week. So yeah, I like Trey Sermon a lot. I'd go over 10 points. Nick Chubb or Calvin Ridley PPR. I don't know how good, Max, your team is to be making this decision between Nick Chubb and Calvin Ridley, who are both first or second round picks in your fantasy draft. Like, start both of them, Max. Otherwise, you might be in way too small of a fantasy league for me to be able to answer this question. All right, do I start AB over Robbie Anderson or Cooper Kupp? And if so, who? Yeah, I would start Antonio Brown over Robbie Anderson 100%. To me, Antonio Brown is almost like a better version of Robbie Anderson. He is a higher ceiling play than even Robbie Anderson is. You got to understand, Antonio Brown averaged the most air yards per game of any Bucs wide receiver in the games that he played in. Like, he was Tom Brady's go-to guy. And I went back and watched the Super Bowl a couple nights ago because I was getting very excited for the season, and the Buccaneers are playing week 1 and they played in the Super Bowl. And if you go back and watch the Super Bowl, guys, don't be surprised when Antonio Brown leads the Buccaneers in targets, leads the Buccaneers in yards this season. It should not surprise you. Antonio Brown could be in peak form. And all of the reports coming out of training camp was that Antonio Brown is looking like he's in peak form. All right, another question here. Love the app, Sam. Thank you, man. I do appreciate that. If you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet, guys, you got to check it out. I can't even count how many hours at this point of my time building the WalterPicks app. There's so many improvements on their way as well. I can't wait to show them all to you. The app is going to help you with your start sit decisions. It's going to help you analyze trades. It's going to help you in your draft. It's going to help you dominate on DraftKings and FanDuel. It's going to help you with player props as well. So thank you, Elias. I do appreciate that. The question here is, do I start Jalen Hurts or Justin Herbert? Yeah, I addressed this earlier. I'll address it again. There's only 4 quarterbacks I'm starting over Jalen Hurts this week, and this is them: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson. The top 4 QBs. Those are the only ones I'm starting over Jalen Hurts. This is why I love Jalen Hurts so much in fantasy drafts this season, because not only does he have a tantalizing rushing floor, he averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the ground last season. That's an amazing floor. but he also has such an amazing early season schedule. The fact that he gets the Falcons week 1, why were you not taking Jalen Hurts in round 9, 10, 11 of your drafts? It was too easy of a call. And in so many of my drafts, I was able to get Jalen Hurts and Trey Lance or Justin Fields, which is the perfect situation where I have Jalen Hurts, who has a chance to be a top 10 quarterback in fantasy this season, but he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback in week 1 with a great matchup. And then you also can go snag a rookie for free who is going to start at some point. Trey Lance and Justin Fields. Don't be surprised when they win fantasy leagues this season. All right. Good question here about who you should be targeting with Kenny and Ronald Jones. I don't know how good of players you're going to get with players like Kenny Golladay and Ronald Jones. What I would do with guys like Kenny Golladay and Ronald Jones, if you wanted to trade them, is I would wait for a big week and then trade them. And that's going to change drastically who you're able to get. Okay. We got a lot of start-sit questions in the chat. I do want to remind people, I did build an app that can help with these start-sit questions. You literally just tap on 2 players in the Who Do I Start tool. We gave everyone 10 completely free comparisons, but you can also start a free 7-day trial. It's only $5 a month after the trial, but you get free completely 7 days, completely free. So try it out. Let me know what the app says. I'll do my best to answer the comments as well. But guys, if I'm picking any spread this week, it's the Patriots at -3 against the Dolphins. I am going to the game, so I'm also probably a little biased on this one, but I like the Patriots -3 against the Dolphins at home. If it was in Miami, I would want nothing to do with the Patriots, who always struggle in Miami, but I do like them at home against the Dolphins this season. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Ezekiel Elliott because we already talked a little bit about the context of the Dallas Cowboys season last year, but it affected nobody more than Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott was injured for part of the season. The offensive line was injured for at least half of the season. And then Dak obviously went down as well. I'm extremely excited to watch how Zeke does this tonight. I can't wait to see how he does in this game. Not only all of that, Zeke had a really, really down season. He was his worst yards per carry in his career, but he also really struggled with fumbles. And that's an issue that really is one to watch closely. Because if there's one reason that Zeke could play himself off of the field and get Tony Pollard more playing time, it's with the fumbles, which he struggled with mightily last season. So I'm very interested to see how Zeke does that. Any first touchdown bets? Owen, I like these bets. I do. I wouldn't bet too much on these, by the way, because first touchdown bets, I don't like as much as touchdown bets in general, but I do like the odds on first touchdown bets are exciting, and we will always talk about them on these live streams. I can pull up the odds. Let me pull up the odds here in 1 second, but I do like Ezekiel Elliott to score a touchdown tonight. I like Antonio Brown to score a touchdown tonight. I saw a comment before. Tom Brady's over-under in touchdowns is 2.5. I think he goes over that as well. I don't love Ronald Jones or Fournette in terms of first touchdown. I would probably go either Antonio Brown or Ezekiel Elliott or CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper. Those are probably the guys I would go with. But that's who I would choose. That's who I would choose for the first touchdown in the game. But again, I would actually prefer to just bet on touchdown, because if you can just bet on the touchdown, there's nothing more infuriating than when you bet on the first touchdown of the game and then they score the second touchdown in the game and you're like, I knew it. I knew this guy was going to score a touchdown tonight, but I get $0 for this, or I actually lose money. So yeah, I would. That's my thoughts on touchdowns tonight. I do think that the highest ceiling player tonight, though, and I don't know if there's any argument against this, the highest ceiling player is Tom Brady, and it's going to be tough for people to watch. Tom Brady, who I was sharing, I was live earlier today with Cowboys.WalterPicks, Luke Bogoni. I was live with him, and I saw a tweet. I don't know if all of you saw this early this morning. Tom Brady heading into his age, 76 season? No, he's like 44 or 43 or something. He is. There's some absolutely insane Tom Brady stats to share. He has more Super Bowls than every other NFL franchise. He has more wins, Super Bowl victories, than every NFL team. He's the only remaining player from the 2001 draft class. But not only that, not is he the only remaining player from the 2001 draft class, he's the only remaining player from the 2001, 2002, and 2003 draft class. And he has been in the NFL longer than Trey Lance has been alive. I mean, just absolutely shocking stats to think about. How long Tom Brady has been dominating in the NFL, and I know this bothers a lot of people, but it is insane, and it could continue tonight, guys. The Cowboys secondary really wasn't great last season. They did get better this offseason. The analysis of like, all right, let's just take what they did last season and assume that's what they're going to do this season. That's bad analysis. That's way too rushed analysis. And the Cowboys secondary and overall defense improved this offseason, but it's still not going to be a top 10 secondary in the league. And they're up against the Buccaneers, who have thrown the most deep attempts per game in the NFL for 2 consecutive seasons. They did it with Jameis Winston, and he led the league in passing yards and interceptions. Then they bring in Tom Brady, and he comes close to leading the league in passing yards, and he throws like literally 1/20th of the amount of interceptions Jameis Winston did, and they win the Super Bowl. And they're going to continue this strategy. It's just such a good strategy in the NFL. Throw the ball deep. It is the most highly efficient way to run your offense. All right, I'm looking at the touchdown props right now. I just pulled them up. Amari Cooper plus 150. I like that a lot. Antonio Brown, surprisingly, plus 135 at worse odds than Amari Cooper. That doesn't make that much sense to me. I guess because the Bucs are big favorites, that's probably why. But I like Amari Cooper plus 150 to score a touchdown tonight as well. People don't remember how consistent Amari Cooper is. I keep saying this all offseason. I didn't understand. I understood why CeeDee Lamb went over Amari Cooper in fantasy drafts, and I also think CeeDee Lamb is a better fantasy pick than Amari Cooper. But Amari Cooper could very easily outscore CeeDee Lamb in fantasy, and he could easily outreceive him, score more touchdowns. It would not be that shocking to me. Amari Cooper was the very clear go-to guy for Dak Prescott when Dak Prescott was playing. But even when Dak got injured, Amari Cooper just sustained this level of consistency that people like to ignore. Amari Cooper had at least 10 fantasy points in every single game except for 3 last season. At least 10 fantasy points in every single game except for 3. Amari Cooper plus 150 tonight to score a touchdown. I don't hate that one bit. Guys, we're live on TikTok and YouTube right now. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. When we hit 200 likes on the YouTube live stream, we will be giving away a free player prop, and the free player props absolutely smashed last season. We went, 15 out of 17 or 15 out of 16? It was something crazy. I don't think we missed more than 2 props last season in terms of the free player props in the WalterPicks app, where you can get all of the props, exploitable props based on machine learning. Every single week, you can get exploitable props in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store, and we had over 63% accuracy over the last 2 years with that, and we got 2 props going tonight. So I want to share one with you when we get to 200 likes on the live. I will be sharing a free prop as always. We're over a fourth of the way there, and we're less than a fourth of the way through the stream. So guys, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. If you're watching on TikTok, come to the YouTube live stream. The chat is a little less spammy, and you can hit the like button to help us get to that free player prop. So go to our TikTok bio, click on the YouTube link, or just look up WalterPicks on YouTube. We're live on TikTok and YouTube right now. All right, this is a good question I'm seeing in the YouTube chat. Damien Harris or Darrell Henderson? This Darrell Henderson, I did not expect to end up with Darrell Henderson on as many teams as I ended up getting Darrell Henderson. If you've been following me for a while, you know I join 6 high-stakes fantasy leagues every season. So I'm in 6. It's too many, honestly. I don't like starting players and also going against players. But I'm in 6 high-stakes fantasy leagues. And I would not have expected to draft Darrell Henderson as much as I did, but he kept falling to round 6 into round 7 in these leagues. People were so scared of Sony Michel. Sony Michel hasn't done anything in the last year and a half in the NFL. He has been one of the least elusive players in the league, and the Rams traded almost nothing to get him. Do I think Sony Michel is going to be involved? Yes, of course. They traded for Sony Michel to be involved because they had 0 depth at running back. But Darrell Henderson, to me, is going to be the clear-cut starter there. And Darrell Henderson in a PPR league has significantly more receiving upside than Damien Harris. You got to understand how good the Rams are going to be this season, guys. The Rams are top 3. I think they're 3rd in Super Bowl odds for a good reason. They went from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford, one of the biggest upgrades in quarterback I've personally ever seen. Jared Goff he's not even a top 25 quarterback in the NFL. He was masked by the genius scheme of the Rams and their talented offense for 2, 3, 4 years. I can't believe he made it to a Super Bowl, but we saw he got exposed in the Super Bowl. Stafford's way better than him. That's good news for Darrell Henderson. It's good news for the whole offense. And with Cam Akers out, I like Darrell Henderson a lot. I'm liking Darrell Henderson. I think he's got really high touchdown ceiling, really high receiving ceiling. If he locks down the goal line work over Sony Michel, he could be a running back 1 in fantasy. If he doesn't, though, he's still a running back 2. He seems pretty safe to me with his receiving ability. He was a good receiver in college. He averaged almost 10 yards a carry in college, by the way. that offensive line in Memphis, I don't know what they feed the offensive line at Memphis, but the offensive line in Memphis was crazy when he was there. We saw it with Tony Pollard. Actually, Tony Pollard was at Memphis right after Darrell Henderson, but Darrell Henderson was good in college. He hasn't really shown it in the NFL, but I think he's better than Sony Michel. All this being said, in a PPR league, I'd go Darrell Henderson over Damian Harris. In a half PPR standard league, I think Damian Harris is a lock for 15-plus carries behind a top 5 offensive line, and I like the Patriots this week. So I would go Damian Harris if it wasn't a PPR league. There are my thoughts. It does help, by the way, guys. If you're asking me start-sit questions, tell me the settings of your league. Is it PPR, point per reception, half PPR, half point per reception, or is there no points per reception? Because it does impact things. That's why in the WalterPicks app, when you go to the start-sit tool, which is going to use machine learning, the most accurate projections literally on the face of the earth, it is going to ask you for your custom league settings. You're going to input your custom league settings to get the best possible start-sit advice you could possibly get. It's also going to give you the ceiling and floor outcome, the boom and bust probability for every single player. It's going to give you the chance that this player goes over 20 points. It's going to give you this chance that the player goes under 10 points. It's everything you need to make your start-sit decision. So definitely check it out. Honestly, it can answer your start-sit questions even better than I can. But of course, I'll continue to answer them because I do enjoy these start-sit questions. All right. I want to get back to this game a little. Let's see if we got any questions about this game specifically. Tyson Williams or Ronald Jones or Kareem Hunt. That is a close one. I would probably go with Tyson Williams in that map. Out of those guys, I definitely would not go with Ronald Jones. I don't like Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette very much tonight, and I'll probably be wrong about at least one of those guys, but good luck guessing which one it's going to be each week, guys. This is why I wanted nothing to do with the Buccaneers backfield this whole season. Good luck guessing if it's going to be Ronald Jones that scores the touchdown or if it's going to be Leonard Fournette that scores the touchdown, because that's what it's going to come down to, and it's going to be a complete coin flip. And neither of those guys are going to be on the field on third down when Giovanni Bernard is fully healthy and play. He is the very clear third down back. So that limits the upside for both those guys a lot too. Whereas Tyson Williams, at least this week, like week 1 for Tyson Williams is the clear best week for him this season because it's going to take time for Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Freeman to get up to full speed. And it's a pretty good matchup too. So I would probably go Tyson Williams or Kareem Hunt. I think there's an argument for Kareem Hunt, but against the Chiefs, I think this is the week that you don't really want to be starting Kareem Hunt because I think that the Browns are going to be forced to throw more than they want. That's why I said I like Odell Beckham Jr. a lot this week. Odell is another guy that I think people are sleeping on this season. All right. We're going to get back to some of the questions. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I can't believe we have football on our screens in literally less than 2 hours. I am so excited. I hope you can feel my excitement because I remember 200 days ago, 200 days, I posted a TikTok saying 200 days till football season. And those 200 days have gone by slow, but also very fast. I say that sometimes the days go slow, but the months always and the weeks always go fast. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that makes sense either. All right. Someone saying half PPR. Appreciate you giving me the scoring settings. In a half PPR league, AB, Chase Edmonds, or Devonta Smith at flex. And this one's tough, guys. This one is tough. I don't like telling you to bench Devonta Smith. I want you to start Devonta Smith against the Falcons. I love Devonta Smith, but week 1, I think week 1, even with a really good matchup against the Falcons, I'm okay benching rookies in week 1. Like I'm fine benching Devonta Smith in week 1. I am totally fine benching Elijah Moore in week 1, Rondale Moore in week 1. I'm fine benching Jamar Chase in week 1. I don't really care where you drafted them either. And I like Devonta Smith more than all of those rookies I just named. And I think if there's one rookie I want to start week 1, it's Devonta Smith. I also think Devonta Smith is the most NFL ready of all those rookies that we just mentioned. He has so many good traits. But if I'm being honest, I think Antonio Brown has a higher ceiling than Devonta Smith this week. So I would probably go Antonio Brown. In a half PPR league, Chase Edmonds also loses a little bit of juice for me. He's much better in PPR leagues. I like Chase Edmonds a lot this season, though. Chase Edmonds, guys, if there's going to be a running back that was drafted in like round 6, 7, 8 that ends up smashing this season, why not Chase Edmonds? What's the difference? I had Matthew Kelly, the podfather, the head of playerprofiler.com and the Roto Underworld podcast on this live stream just about a week ago. And he was saying, what's the difference between Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Chase Edmonds? Really, what is the difference? They're both good receivers. They're both on good offenses. And the big difference is one's getting drafted in round 6 and 7 and the other's going in the second, third round. I like Chase Edmonds a lot. I think he could easily steal the running role in that offense from James Conner. Like, are we that scared of James Conner after what he did last season? I know the Steelers' offensive line was bad, but I like Chase Edmonds. I would still start Antonio Brown in this situation. but I do like that you got Chase Edmonds. And in a PPR league, though, I do like him a little bit more. Is Dak a bad start? Someone's asking. Hey, it's Rush. Hey, Rush. I do not think Dak is a bad start. I know the Buccaneers defense is scary. And I know it's kind of scary starting Dak Prescott coming off of his injury. But if you drafted Dak Prescott, there's very few quarterbacks I would want you starting over Dak Prescott. Unless you have Jalen Hurts, in which case, good. Yeah, start Jalen Hurts. It's the perfect guy to start over Dak Prescott as he gets acclimated in week one and he's up against a tough defense. But if you don't have Dak Prescott, like, who are you starting over Dak? Probably no one that I would want to start over Dak. Antonio Brown or Deontay Johnson, full PPR. This one's close. The Steelers are up against the Bills in week one, and they're 6.5-point underdogs in this game. The Steelers are expected to be behind. And we know the Bills offense, one of the most pass-heavy offenses in the NFL now, and they put the ball into their best player's hands consistently, and that's Josh Allen. So I do think that the Steelers are going to throw more than they want to. That being said, I would go Antonio Brown over Deontay Johnson. I think Antonio Brown has a higher ceiling, maybe a lower floor than Deontay Johnson. And if you've been following me for long enough, you know I'd like to lean ceiling over floor in general, especially with like wide receiver threes or your flex options. I like going with the best case scenario. I love winning weeks with my flex player. So I do think I'd go Antonio Brown over Deontay Johnson. It's certainly close. And I do think Deontay Johnson has the better chance to score over 10 points. Like if you said, which guy has the better probability of 10 plus points? I'd probably say Deontay Johnson. But which guy has the better chance at 20 plus points? I'd probably go with Antonio Brown there. So I'd go with Antonio Brown, but it's certainly close. I like Antonio Brown a lot tonight, though, guys. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. When we hit 200 likes on the YouTube stream, guys, we will give away the free prop pick. We're almost halfway there, and we're not halfway through the stream. So we're going to hit it. And the sooner we hit it, the sooner you get the free prop. So look up WalterPicks on YouTube if you're watching live on TikTok, or just go into the TikTok bio, and there's the link right there, right to the YouTube. Just smash the like button, then just come back to the TikTok live. Hit the like button, come back to the TikTok live, and then you're going to get the free prop sooner. Okay. I want to look at some more of these touchdown odds. Chris Godwin he's only plus 110 to score a touchdown. Zeke minus 140. I don't hate that, by the way. Zeke minus 140 to score a touchdown tonight. If there's one Cowboy you want to bet on to score a touchdown, it's Ezekiel Elliott. He's going to get at least one try if they're inside the 5. Gallup is plus 225. That one's interesting. Gallup is a tough one with props for me, though. Gallup is very, very hit or miss in fantasy and in player props and in all formats because of the way that he's used. It's not because of how good he is. Michael Gallup would be the starter on a number one receiver on a lot of teams in the NFL. He'd be a top 2 receiver on almost every team in the NFL, except for the Dallas Cowboys and maybe just a couple other teams, maybe the Buccaneers as well, with how good the receivers are in this game, just insane. But Gallup is either going to smash like 60 yards and a touchdown, or he's going to get like 30 yards because he really has this deep vertical route roll on the Cowboys. So that's why I would probably stray away from Michael Gallup tonight and in terms of the props. All right. Hey, what's up, Sam? Full PPR. Who do I flex? Devonta Smith, Rondale Moore, or Jalen Waddle? Or Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's definitely the safest of this group. And I like Tyler Boyd a lot at the beginning of the season too. I think Tyler Boyd is going to outscore Jamar Chase at the beginning of the season. But I would go Devonta Smith over all these guys. I would definitely go over Rondale Moore and Jalen Waddle, the other rookies. And Tyler Boyd's the one that's close for me. But in a full PPR league, Tyler Boyd does get a little bit better. But I would go Devonta Smith. The Falcons are just such a tantalizing matchup. Devonta Smith is the clear number one receiver for his team week one. You can't say that about any other of these receivers. Rondale Moore at best is number 2, but he's likely number 3 to start the season behind AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins. Tyler Boyd is going to be behind T. Higgins and maybe behind Jamar Chase. Jalen Waddle is going to be behind Devontae Parker. Will Fuller's at week 1, though, so this could be a good week for Jalen Waddle. But I don't think I want to be playing Jalen Waddle over Devonta Smith. The Patriots are also without Stephon Gilmore. Jalen Waddle actually might have some sneaky fantasy appeal, but I would go Devonta Smith. Brady or Prescott tonight. This is a good one because this is both the quarterbacks playing tonight. I would go with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the Buccaneers are expected to score more points. The Buccaneers also are just like much less likely to run in the red zone than the Cowboys. It won't be shocking if we see Dak put up 300 yards, but only score 1 touchdown. That would be pretty surprising from Tom Brady. So I would go Tom Brady over Dak tonight. I really do like Tom Brady tonight over Dak against an easier defense too. Like the Cowboys defense isn't as good as the Bucs defense. So that's a good reason for that. Let's go. Football is back. Luca, football is back, man. Thanks for tuning into the live stream, guys. I do appreciate it. Seriously. I have a ton of fun on these live streams. I appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like button if you're watching live on YouTube. There's a like button on TikTok now too, so you're not left out. Hit the like button on TikTok as well. When we hit 200 likes, though, on the YouTube live stream, guys, I set a goal, and I'm going to say this out loud literally only once. I'm just going to say it out loud once because that's just how I am with setting goals. But the goal of the season on YouTube is to pass 10,000 YouTube subscribers. That's the goal. So I'm sorry if it feels like I'm pushing the YouTube stream a little bit if you're watching live on TikTok, but that's the goal. The goal is to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers this season, and really we're only going to be able to do that with these live streams. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I do appreciate it. And again, when we hit 200 likes on the YouTube live, we will be giving away the free prop pick. Arson saying, Sam, please answer. I got you, man. T. Higgins or Antonio Brown, PPR. By the way, if I am able to answer your question and you aren't able to subscribe in the WalterPicks app, because the number one way you could support me is going into the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store and subscribing to the fantasy tier or the entire app tier. It's either $5 a month or like $17 a month. The fantasy tier is going to help you start the decisions, trades, and everything to do with your fantasy league. That's the number one way you could possibly support me. So I do appreciate if you could do that. But if you can't, I understand. Not everyone has that money to spend. That's fine. That's totally fine. If I do answer your question, though, the second best way you could possibly help me is by going into the App Store and giving us a 5-star review in the App Store. So Arsian, if you haven't given us a 5-star review in the App Store yet, WalterPicks in the iOS App Store, I would really do appreciate that. That would be huge. Please answer me, Sam, T. Higgins or Antonio Brown. I'd go Antonio Brown. I'd go Antonio Brown over T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins, though, is safer. So don't get me wrong here. I like T. Higgins a lot in week 1, but I like Antonio Brown a lot tonight. Hey, Sam, been a subscriber since 100. Jake, dude, true OG. I appreciate you, man. Should I start Lockett or Thielen? App says Lockett. Yeah, I would go Tyler Lockett as well. I would go Tyler Lockett over Adam Thielen. Tyler Lockett's ceiling is just too high not to be playing Tyler Lockett over Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen and Tyler Lockett, to me, also have similar risk involved with them. Like both guys aren't the number one receiver on their team. And both guys could be on run-first offenses, too. They're not that much different. The big difference is Tyler Lockett's playing with Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone, almost everyone else in the league, and definitely Kirk Cousins. So, yeah, I like Tyler Lockett more. Appreciate you being an OG subscriber, Jake. And I do appreciate any 5-star reviews you guys can toss our way in the App Store, iOS App Store, WalterPicks. We're coming to Android soon, by the way. I know we get a lot of Android questions. We're coming to Android. I'm hoping my goal is by week 4, but I'm not going to promise anything because my development team will not be happy with me. All right. Hey, Sam, my wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Godwin, Anderson, and Antonio Brown in PPR. And there's also a 5-point bonus for 100-yard games. I think this one's actually relatively straightforward. If you're going to start 3 wide receivers in this league, you obviously have to start A.J. Brown. You never bench A.J. Brown. You're never allowed to bench him. He's one of the unbenchable players. Anyone you drafted in the first 3 rounds, probably unbenchable. Godwin and Anderson and AB, honestly, probably the safest approach here. Just go play Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. Just go play both those guys. And at least one of them is going to go over 100 yards for you tonight. So I would probably go Godwin and Antonio Brown as a safe option. If I'm going for ceiling, though, it's probably got to be Godwin and Anderson. So that way you're like diversifying the games. I would personally, though, Luke, I like stacking guys in season-long leagues. I would go Godwin and Antonio Brown, especially with the Bucs. The Bucs offense is the perfect team to do this with. There's very few teams that you can really be confident about doing this with. And we're seeing both teams tonight are guys, Mari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown. All 5 of those guys could finish as number 1 top 12 wide receivers in fantasy football in week 1. That's how good these receivers are and how good these offenses are. All right. I do appreciate the live stream comments right now. I do appreciate the likes, guys. We're almost halfway there. We're almost at 100 likes. Hit the like button. When we get to 200 likes, we're going to give away the free prop pick. We actually have over 200 people tuned in across TikTok and YouTube and Twitter right now. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're going to get to the free prop pick. I want to share it with you guys. It's for tonight. It is for tonight. Sam, please, the game starts soon. Carter, man, how's it going? I know you have been a fan of the stream for a while. Thanks for tuning in again, man. I do appreciate it. All right, Carter, the game starts soon. It does start soon. We're coming up to an hour and a half away from game time. Who should I pick, Lockett or Godwin? That's a close one. That's a very close one. I'd personally probably go with Godwin over Tyler Lockett, but it's really, really close. I think this one's really close. They're really not that much different in terms of their ceiling. I think Godwin probably has the safer floor, but he also has a little bit more competition for targets. I personally would go with Godwin, though, and I also Like, you got to enjoy this first game of the season. I'd go with Godwin, but it is really close. I won't be surprised if those guys are back-to-back in our rankings for week 1 on Sunday. Sam, Antonio or Devonta, I need to know soon. Yes, you do. If you're starting Antonio Brown tonight, you got to know in the next hour and a half. You got to make your decision. And I will say, I give a lot of fantasy advice away. I give a lot of betting advice away as well, and DraftKings and FanDuel advice. It's very important that you understand this is your team. You got to make the call. I'm just here to try to give you some insights so you can make your own decision. That's what the WalterPicks app is all about too. We're not trying to give you exact answers in the app. We're trying to give you the information you need so that you can make your own best decisions. But personally, I'd go Antonio Brown over Devonta Smith. And if you have the chance to bench Devonta Smith, I don't want to bench Devonta Smith, but if you have a guy like Antonio Brown that you can bench Devonta Smith for, like week 1's probably a good week to do that. Even though he's playing the Falcons, like let's see what his role is like. Danny Grace, man, how is it going? Pick up the backup Ravens running back over A.J. Dillon or Melvin Gordon. That is a tough one, man. Daniel, honestly, I don't think I'd do that. I don't. And I don't love Melvin Gordon, but he's too good to drop. And the Ravens, at best case scenario for these backup running backs, the Baltimore Ravens guys are going to be a running back by committee. They were going to be a running back by committee with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards also. And so, if anything, it's going to be even more of a committee now than it was before. So, yeah, I do not want Le'Veon Bell. I do not want Devonta Freeman. If there's anyone I want, it is Tyson Williams, who's a pretty clear starter, at least for week 1. But none of them have very high receiving ceilings, and they all are probably going to be in a committee. So I'm not that excited. I am not that excited for any of them. I would hold on to Melvin Gordon and A.J. Dillon. I still like A.J. Dillon a lot this season. Okay. And I do appreciate, Danny, if you can toss us a 5-star review in the App Store. That helps us out a ton. We're trying to become a top 25 free app this season. We were a top 25 app at one point last season in about week 2. We're trying to beat that this season. We were the 24th ranked app in the App Store. I want to crack the top 20. I want to beat what we did last season. So toss us a 5-star review in the App Store. It really does help us out. Okay, Juju or Pittman first week. Hey, Sam. How's it going, Sean? I'd probably go with Juju in week 1 over Pittman. Pittman is good, and I like Pittman, and he's probably going to be the number 1 receiver for the Colts this season. But Juju, if you drafted Juju, how are you not going to play in week 1 against the Bills? Like, it's the perfect time to be playing all the Steelers receivers. I know I did say I'd go Antonio Brown over Deontay Johnson. I think I'd go Juju over Pittman, though, and it is close. I would probably go Juju, especially in a PPR league, though, Sean. Robbie Anderson or Miles Sanders at flex. I think I answered a very similar question this earlier in the stream. I'm playing Miles Sanders for the floor this week. Miles Sanders is a lock to go over 10 fantasy points. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go over 10 fantasy points this week against a terrible Falcons defense and behind the healthiest offensive line he's had in the last year. Like, this is the healthiest offensive line the Eagles have had in so long. The Eagles just get decimated by offensive line injuries every single year, and it hasn't happened yet, knock on wood. I like Miles Sanders week 1, though, for that reason. And I do like Robbie Anderson a lot. He probably has a higher ceiling than Miles Sanders in the #revenge game against the New York Jets. I like both these guys. I think this is a good decision to be having to make, Justin. I like both of them. But I would probably go Sanders for the floor or Robbie Anderson for the ceiling. You got to decide, what are you looking for? Do you want the ceiling? Do you want the upside? Or do you want the floor? That Justin, that is up to you. All right. We're going to get to as many comments as we can, I promise. I want to recap my thoughts on this game tonight, though, because the game's coming up really, really soon. By the way, we're over 110 likes on YouTube. Smash the like button on YouTube. When we hit 200 likes, I'll be giving out the free prop pick of tonight. We're probably going to have one on Sunday, too. So probably 2 free props to start off the season. Make sure, by the way, guys, I'll be live from basically when I wake up every Sunday morning to 1 o'clock. So when I wake up to kickoff. That's my live stream every Sunday. I did it all last year. It was a lot of fun. We'll be doing those again right on TikTok, right on YouTube. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel and hit the like button and the notification button on YouTube so that you don't miss out. But also, I'll be scheduling them ahead of time on TikTok. So make sure you're joining those live Sunday morning. I'll be here to help you out with start-sit decisions, with betting advice, player prop, DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever you need. We're going to be talking about it in the live stream because it's a long live. So I do appreciate you guys tuning into that one as well. All right, let's see if we got some questions that I can help with in the chat. This one's easy for me. T-Bone plays. How's it going, man? Sam, please. Mostert or Ronald Jones? And again, if I answer your question, or honestly, if you just enjoy the live stream, the number one way you can support me is download the WalterPicks app, give it a 5-star review, and if you can, consider subscribing to the actual app. That's the number one way you can support me. So T-Bone, I appreciate the question. Sam, please, Mostert or Ronald Jones? I would go Raheem Mostert over Ronald Jones. It's not even close. Is it really not close? Raheem Mostert's up against the Detroit Lions, who are going to struggle to win a single game this season. Same thing with the Houston Texans, but the Lions defense might actually be worse than the Houston Texans defense. And I don't even know how that's humanly possible, but it actually is possible. That's how bad the Lions defense is going to be. Their offense also is going to really struggle with Jared Goff and one of the worst wide receiver groups I've seen in my entire life. 5 years of covering the NFL seriously, and I would be hard-pressed to come up with a worse receiving room than Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyrell Williams as your top two receivers with Jared Goff at quarterback. So, yeah, I like Mostert a lot. I like Raheem Mostert much more than Ronald Jones. The thing about Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, guys, is Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, good luck guessing which one it's going to be each week. Both of them are going to have good weeks, but good luck guessing which one it's going to be. So I'm just going to assume each week I don't want to start either of those guys. Like, it's just such a coin flip. If you're in a really tough spot, then, yeah, you got to trot one of them out. But Raheem Mostert is much better. I would definitely go with Raheem Mostert. All right. PPR, Judy, Boyd, or Deebo Samuel. I would probably go with Judy. If you've been following me all offseason, you know I love Jerry Judy. I like him week 1. Brady or Lamar? Yeah, Jay, there's 5 quarterbacks that I'm not benching this week. And the first 4, I think you can argue any order of. But if you drafted Lamar Jackson, you have to start Lamar Jackson. You have to start Lamar Jackson. If you drafted Patrick Mahomes, you have to start Patrick Mahomes. If you drafted Josh Allen, you have to start Josh Allen. If you drafted Kyler Murray, you have to draft Kyler Murray. There should be no questions about any of those 4 guys. Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I honestly do not care who they're playing against either. They actually all don't have the worst matchups. The Browns defense is probably going to be good this season, but Lamar has a fantastic matchup. Josh Allen against the Steelers. We'll see how good that defense is, but not that bad of a matchup. And Kyler Murray against the Titans. Kyler Murray, I would not disagree with you if you put Kyler Murray as your number 1 ranked quarterback this week. The Titans and the Cardinals defense are both so bad. I don't know what the over-under is in that game, but the Titans defense is not going to be good this season. Their offense is going to be insanely good this season. I just posted a video about Julio Jones and why he's just insanely underrated heading into the season. If Julio Jones has a full healthy season this year, guys, he is going to cement himself as a top 5 wide receiver in the history of the NFL, because you're going to see it on full display. He has been, I would argue, he's a top 5 receiver already, but people forget how good he is because he has dealt with a lot of injuries over the last 2 years. But when he's healthy, he's been balling out. You look at the games where he had at least 5 targets last season. He's averaging 110 yards per game, over 110 yards per game. And he's going to average more than 5 targets a game in his healthy games this season too. So, yeah, I like him a lot this season. But Kyler Murray is another quarterback. You can't be benching him. You just can't be benching him. Yarj, my man, how's it going? It's good to see you in the chat. I lost the comment 1 second. The viewers and like counts for YouTube going back up. Woo! Yeah, Yarshman, that's what I'm talking about, man. I appreciate you tuning in. True OG. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. And we will be giving away another free prop pick tonight. We get 1 free prop pick tonight when we hit 200 likes on the YouTube stream. We're almost there. We are only 80 likes away. We got way more than 80 people tuned in on TikTok and almost 80 people tuned in on YouTube as well. So come to the YouTube stream. Look up WalterPicks on YouTube. Link is in the bio of our TikTok bio as well. Hit the like button. Tanner, what's going on, man? Who do you flex? This is a PPR league. You have Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Ronald Jones. I sub to the app and highly recommend it. It is very helpful. Tanner, thank you so much, man. I do appreciate the kind words about the app. I've spent a lot of time on the app, the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store, that is. Do appreciate 5-star reviews. And Tanner, seriously, you are helping me the number 1 way you could possibly help me, by subscribing to the app. So I do appreciate that. But a PPR league, this is a very tough one because you drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably the earliest of these 3 guys. And he's been dealing with an ankle injury for the past 3 weeks that I've been really concerned about, but it seems like he's trending towards week 1. I actually think he got a limited practice in, which is a really good sign. The one guy you can rule out of this list immediately is Ronald Jones. Definitely not starting Ronald Jones over any of these guys. I honestly would probably rule out Devonta Smith in this situation too. I would be narrowing it down to Chris Godwin, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I like Godwin a lot tonight against the Cowboys. I would probably go with Clyde, though. I think Clyde is a lock for 15-plus touches in the best offense in the league. I know the Browns are going to be a good defense this season, but the Chiefs are still big favorites week 1 against the Browns. I would probably go Clyde or Godwin. It's close. I would argue Clyde has the safer floor, but Godwin probably has the higher ceiling. That's how I'm seeing it. And of course, you're subscribed in the YouTube in the WalterPicks app as well. So hopefully you use that to help you make your decision too. In the start sit tool, where you just tap on 2 players and it gives you machine learning projections, the most accurate projections out there, but also gives you a boom and bust probability for each player. So even better analysis than I could offer just now. Thoughts on Amari Cooper tonight? Yeah, I have thoughts on Amari Cooper tonight. He's the background right now on TikTok. Amari Cooper has been slept on for far too long. You got to stop sleeping on Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was by far one of Dak Prescott's, that's just like a double negative. That didn't make sense. I think that Amari Cooper was much more consistent than most people realized last season. Amari Cooper, guys, was over 10 fantasy points in every single game except for 3 this past season. I would be shocked if he doesn't get at least 10 fantasy points tonight. I would be shocked if CeeDee Lamb also doesn't get at least 10 fantasy points tonight. I think they're both really good. I like CeeDee Lamb more than Amari Cooper. I was drafting CeeDee Lamb before Amari Cooper. But Amari Cooper was absolutely the better value in fantasy drafts because he was going 5 to 10 picks after CeeDee Lamb. And you could easily outscore and outtouch and outyard CeeDee Lamb this season. That won't surprise me that much. So, yeah, I like Amari Cooper a lot. And I actually think Amari Cooper is been slept on all offseason and was one of the most obvious locks of fantasy drafts in like round 4. The ESPN rankings specifically were just insane with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was going in like the middle of the end of the 4th round, and ESPN made no sense. Those rankings were whack. Dak or Hurts first week? Yeah, I'll go over this again because I have seen a lot of Hurts questions. Nicholas, appreciate the question, by the way. I think that there's only 4 quarterbacks I'm starting over Jalen Hurts in week 1. It is Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen, like the top 4 QBs that you drafted. I would probably go with Hurts over Dak, and I don't think I'm going to be starting Hurts over Dak all season. Like, that's hopefully why you drafted Dak. But if there's one game to go rest Dak on your fantasy team and play Jalen Hurts, it's week 1. Dak is up against a very good Buccaneers defense that has a very scary front 7, and they're without Zach Martin, their starting offensive lineman, one of the best offensive linemen in the league tonight too because of COVID protocols. And then Jalen Hurts, you look at his matchup, he's up against the Atlanta Falcons, who got torched in almost every single game last season, and Hurts is a lock, an auto lock for at least 10 fantasy points. He averaged 10 fantasy points last season on the ground alone, and there's almost no way Jalen Hurts doesn't get better as a passer this season. This is what I've been trying to say all offseason. He has the rushing that we want in fantasy, but he also has the chance to become a much better passer. He averaged 52% completion percentage last season, absolutely abysmal. It was one of the worst in the league, if not the worst in the league. But that being said, he had Devonta Smith. His top receiver last year was Greg Ward, and now it's Devonta Smith. So, yeah, I like Jalen Hurts a lot week 1. Sam, one question. Who should I start at flex? Chris Carson, CeeDee Lamb, or Swift? Yeah, it's CeeDee Lamb. This is an easy one, yards, but it's CeeDee Lamb. Don't bench CeeDee Lamb tonight. Do not bench CeeDee Lamb. Do not bench Amari Cooper. Get these guys into your lineups. No Android app. Oh, I hate these questions. No, there's not an Android app. I understand there's no Android app. I want an Android app just as much as you do. I promise you. I want the Android app out, and I want it out yesterday. So I'm hoping that realistically we get the Android app. It's a lot of work. I'm hoping that we get it out by week 4 this season. I'm not going to promise anything about the Android version of the WalterPicks app, though, because my development team will definitely not be happy with me. So I'm not going to promise anything, but it's on the timeline, and there will be an Android app. It's just a matter of when, not if. All right. We got to pick 2 here, and this is a non-PPR league. William, non-PPR league. I like PPR leagues much more, by the way, but I know there's a lot of non-PPR leagues out there. Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Chase Claypool, Michael Pittman. If it's a non-PPR league, we really don't care about receptions. We care about yards and touchdowns. It's all about yards and touchdowns. And if it's about yards and touchdowns, by the way, all 5 of these receivers I like. I think Pittman's the easiest one to throw out. I think Claypool also. I think it's between Thielen, Moore, Jeudy. I would probably choose Moore and Jeudy over Thielen, but it's between those 3 guys for me. PPR, do I keep Swift or trade him? Yeah, I know there's a lot of very scary news circulating about DeAndre Swift right now. I'm not gonna comment on the actual allegations because I honestly have not been able to read that much into it today. It's been a busy day for me, but I wouldn't be going to try to trade DeAndre Swift right now because his value's got to be as low as it's been. It almost can't get lower. Like it could, obviously, if the reports come to be true. He's worthless. He's not going to be on any fantasy team in any league, but I wouldn't go trade DeAndre Swift right now. Let's wait and see what happens. It's almost too late. It's too late to trade him. AB or Robbie Anderson. Yeah, I'd go Antonio Brown. Don't bench Antonio Brown. Guys, don't bench Antonio Brown. Sam, Damian Harris or Claypool at flex. Yeah, Claypool's absolutely got a higher ceiling than Damian Harris. But if it's a half PPR or non-PPR league, I'm fine with going Damian Harris. Damian Harris is a lock for 15-plus carries behind the top 5 offensive line in a game that I think the Patriots are going to win pretty handedly. So I like Damian Harris. I think Chase Claypool, though, obviously has a higher ceiling. His touchdown ability, Chase Claypool's touchdown ability is just unmatched. He's such a good scorer of touchdowns. So I like his ceiling a lot. I think it's floor versus ceiling for me. All right. AB's line is up to 60.5. How high would you take this line? The Antonio Brown line has moved a lot. By the way, we're giving away the free prop pick when we get to 200 likes. But the Antonio Brown prop, I actually, on Prize Picks, got the Antonio Brown prop at 48.5 2 days ago, when before the Chris Godwin, there was like a Chris Godwin injury scare a couple days ago that shot it up and then just didn't go back down. It's at 58.5 as of like a few hours ago. This comment saying, Owen is saying that sorry, it wasn't Owen. I clicked on the wrong comment here, but the Antonio Brown props up as high as 60.5. I still like it. I feel very good about Antonio Brown tonight. Antonio Brown led this team in air yards last season, and that's a big deal. Anything about Eckler playing Sunday? No news yet about Austin Eckler and whether he is or is not playing, though it does look like he's trending in a very good direction. I would be pretty surprised if Austin Eckler does not play, but I got to admit, what a scary thing to be reading. 3 days before the first Sunday of the NFL season, Austin Eckler, after drafting himself first overall and betting on himself and becoming a Yahoo Fantasy Sports analyst and just all around being slept on by people playing fantasy football for the last 3 years. Austin Eckler, a locked-in first-round pick in PPR leagues. Austin Eckler has Alvin Kamara level upside this season. And then 3 days before football, we start reading that Austin Eckler is off to the side with a hamstring injury. Like, that is brutal. That's how you know football season's right around the corner. But I still like Austin Eckler a lot, and it looks like he's going to play. That's really the latest update. It is not official, though, so we got to stay tuned with the news heading up to Sunday. All right. This is a good question, Yarjman. I did talk a little bit about this already, but the Ravens backfield. I've seen a lot of questions about the Ravens backfield. I know that I do know that Tyson Williams is going to be the starter week 1, but after that, it's going to be some sort of a committee between Tyson Williams, Le'Veon Bell, and Devonta Freeman. Devonta Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, we confirmed both of them washed last season. We confirmed Le'Veon Bell washed last season when he was literally outproduced by Darrell Williams on the Chiefs. A clear backup running back in the NFL was outproducing and was way more efficient than Le'Veon Bell last season. This was not that long ago. So I would be pretty surprised if Lev Bell isn't still washed. And Devonta Freeman's been washed for even longer than Le'Veon Bell. I'm not excited about either of these guys in terms of their talent right now. And I think that we've seen from the past, the Ravens want to do a running back by committee. And they're also not going to throw to their running backs very much. Lamar hates throwing to his running backs. So I'm not that excited about any of them. I think Tyson Williams is the guy to have if you're going to have any of them. He should have been added in every league already. And if there's 1 week you want to start Tyson Williams, it might be this week against the Raiders. And while Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Freeman get up to speed, but after they get up to speed, this might be just a situation to avoid altogether. And it's tough to say that because the Ravens were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL last season, but largely because Lamar Jackson has ran for 1,000 yards, and he ran for 1,000 yards this season before. And if he stays healthy, he's going to run for another 1,000 yards this season. By the way, Lamar Jackson is the best rushing quarterback of all time. This is already confirmed by me, and I feel like people will push back against this. Michael Vick, I know Vick was good. Vick never had back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and Lamar Jackson's just getting started. So, yeah, I like Lamar Jackson this season even more now. He's just going to run even more. I don't love any of the running backs, but Tyson Williams is probably my favorite. Antonio Brown or Tyson Williams, yeah, like it has to be Antonio Brown. Don't overthink the Tyson Williams thing. You don't want to start Tyson Williams, guys. You do not want to start him. You can start him if you need to start him, but it's week 1. Are you in that bad of a situation? You drafted absolutely no running backs, or maybe you drafted J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards. I did end up with J.K. Dobbins on one team before the injury. Luckily, I didn't draft Gus Edwards. I would have if he fell at certain points in the draft, but I didn't. That was just pure luck. But if you have to start Tyson Williams, you can. But don't start him over Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, guys, has way more chance at scoring 20-plus fantasy points this week than Tyson Williams. And you got to understand, the way I approach fantasy football, I look at it from a perspective of range of outcomes. What is the best-case scenario for this player? What is the worst-case scenario for this player? And what is the most likely scenario for this player? These are the 3 things I think about when making start-sit decisions in fantasy. That's exactly how the WalterPicks app was built in the iOS App Store. You get the boom and bust probability based on 10,000 simulations a week, and then you get projected median points based on machine learning. So that's what the WalterPicks app helps you with, and that's how I think about my start-sit decisions. And usually I lean towards the ceiling. I usually lean towards the guy with the higher ceiling. I like floor a lot too, especially with running backs, but I care about ceiling a lot, and Antonio Brown is exactly that. He is the ceiling play of this week. All right. Someone's asking, I saw before, I think I lost the comment, but who was the lock of week 1? Jalen Hurts is the lock of week 1. I already said this on this live stream, but there's only 4 quarterbacks I'm playing over Jalen Hurts this week. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Lamar Jackson, it's Josh Allen, and it's Kyler Murray, the top 4 quarterbacks in fantasy football in almost every single draft. That's the lock of the week, though. Jalen Hurts against the Atlanta Falcons. Guys, hit the like button on the YouTube live. We got like 20 minutes left. We got 20 minutes left of the live stream, and we're only 70 likes away. We got way more than 70 people tuned in right now. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube as well. When we hit 200 likes, we're going to be signing off this live stream with the free prop pick of tonight. And I know you guys want the free prop picks, and I want to give it to you. I do. I'm excited about the free prop pick. We had a lot of good accuracy with our free prop picks last season. We only missed twice. It was once or twice. I'm going to be cautious to say twice, but it honestly might have been once out of like 16 picks. So I want to give the free prop pick because I feel like it has good vibes. I think it gives us good luck for the prop, honestly, with the accuracy we had last season. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're watching live on TikTok, guys, click on the TikTok bio, head to the YouTube stream, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. They also added a like button on TikTok. So hit the like button on TikTok too. I do appreciate that. Is Antonio Brown, someone's asking in the TikTok stream, Riley Jones, is Antonio Brown going to be the number one receiver for the Bucs this season? I wouldn't say that with confidence, but it's absolutely possible. This is why I was in on Antonio Brown all offseason. He does have the upside to be the number one receiver for the Buccaneers. I think that there is just as good of a chance that Mike Evans finishes as the top receiver than Antonio Brown finishing as the top receiver. Antonio Brown led the Bucs in air yards last season. Don't let this stat fade your mind. This is a big deal. The number one metric to look at in terms of volume for wide receivers is air yards. Air yards is just the number of yards that the ball traveled in the air before it reached the receiver. It's the best volume stat for wide receivers. It's better than targets because it actually gives us more information than targets, right? Because you can get targets right at the line of scrimmage. You get 10 targets right at the line of scrimmage. That's actually not as valuable as 5 targets like 50 yards down the field. And Antonio Brown led the Bucs in air yards last season in the games he played in. He was essentially, in terms of volume, the number one receiver on the team. And if you look at the playoffs and go back and watch some of those playoff games in the Super Bowl, don't be surprised. Do not be surprised when Antonio Brown leads the team in receiving. There's my thoughts on that. Should I start Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, or Miles Sanders at flex? Your app is amazing. I appreciate that, man. Nathan, thanks, man. But I do appreciate your help as well. Nathan, I appreciate that. I paraphrase a little, but I do appreciate it. Should I start Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, or Miles Sanders? It's Amari Cooper. Start Amari Cooper. I would go Amari Cooper over Mike Evans all day long. And I think Miles Sanders is good, but I would go Amari Cooper over all three of those guys. But don't put him in the flex slot. Don't put him in the flex slot. Put him in the wide receiver slot, even if he's not going to be your number 2 receiver on your team. Don't play any players tonight in your flex slot because you want to keep the flexibility open for your Sunday decisions in case something changes. And things change fast in the NFL, as you learned today with Gus Edwards and DeAndre Swift a little bit today too. Things can change fast. There's going to be even more news that we weren't expecting before week 1 even starts, before the Sunday night football kickoff at 1. So I would play Mark Cooper in your wide receiver slot, but I like him more than Mike Evans and Miles Sanders tonight. All right. We're almost at the free prop pick, guys. We're like 50 likes away, only 50 likes away. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube too. We're going to be giving away the free prop pick in like 5 to 10 minutes. We just got to hit the like button. Hey, Sam, AB or Damian Harris? I use all my sit options in the app. Well, first of all, thanks for trying out the app. I do appreciate it. I do think that I would go with Antonio Brown over Damian Harris, but I would also, I want to let you know, Ty Edgerton, first of all, thanks for tuning in and thanks for using the app, but you'll actually get free start sit uses every single week. So make sure you're checking back into the app next week because you will get more free start sit uses. You're not like all out for the whole season. So thanks for using the app. And if you can, toss us a 5-star review in the App Store. But yeah, I would go Antonio Brown over Damian Harris. I think Damian Harris has a pretty safe floor, but Antonio Brown's ceiling is just way too high. It's just way too high. Owen, I'm sorry, man. I clicked on yours, didn't answer. Myles Gaskin, Melvin Gordon, Visca Chenault, or Brandon Cooks, half PPR. See, Owen, I can tell this is a competitive fantasy league. When this is your decision at flex, you are in a competitive fantasy league, which is fun. And these decisions, Owen, are important in competitive fantasy leagues. I would not be starting Melvin Gordon in week 1. And I don't think I want to start Brandon Cooks either. For me, it's between Gaskin and Laviska Shenault. It appears from recent reports from the coaching staff and from the beat reporters in Miami that Myles Gaskin actually is going to get a bigger workload than I was anticipating most of the offseason. But I also won't be that surprised if the Patriots get an early lead in this game and Gaskin doesn't get the goal line touches for this offense. Like, I think Malcolm Brown has the goal line role for the Dolphins offense. This is why I've been fading Gaskin all season long, because the thing about Gaskin last season Gaskin had a top 5 workload last season. He was top 10 in red zone touches per game. He was top 10 in targets per game. He was top 10 in a lot of different volume metrics, which are super important for running backs. And I don't think he's going to be top 10 in those stats again. I don't think he's going to even come close to the red zone one, because I think Malcolm Brown is going to steal a lot of touchdowns. So all that being said, I think Gaskin's pretty much a lock for at least 12 carries in week 1. I would probably go Visca Chenault, though. I like Laviska Shenault a lot, and I think he's going to do really well. I think if there's one player that benefited the most other than James Robinson from the Travis Etienne injury, it's Laviska Shenault. He fits such a similar role, and he looked pretty good in his connection with Trevor Lawrence in week 1, too, and he's up against the Texans. So, yeah, I like Laviska Shenault a lot. I would probably go Visca Chenault. Thanks for the question, man. Odell or Deebo Samuel? I'd go Odell. Don't bench Odell against the Chiefs. It's the perfect game for Odell Beckham Jr. All right. Tyson Williams or Swift half PPR. Love the app, by the way, and I already used all my uses. Joseph, thanks for trying out the app, man. Appreciate the 5-star review in the App Store as well. If you liked it, I would definitely go DeAndre Swift over Tyson Williams, though. Don't overthink Tyson Williams. Play Tyson Williams if you have to, not because you want to. It's because you have to. Don't just go play Tyson Williams over DeAndre Swift, who you probably took in the top 5 rounds of your fantasy draft. Sam, please answer. Fran, I'm going to answer, and I appreciate the question. I hope that if I answer well, you'll consider giving us a 5-star review in the iOS App Store for the WalterPicks app. Amari Cooper or DJ Moore? I'm going Amari Cooper. Don't bench Amari Cooper. Don't bench Amari Cooper this week, or really any week in fantasy football. Amari Cooper only had 3 games under 10 fantasy points last season. They're 9-point underdogs tonight. I would be shocked if Amari Cooper doesn't score at least 10 fantasy points. That's such a good floor to get your season off started. But that's just the floor for Amari Cooper. The ceiling for Amari Cooper is 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. I think that was in Brett's bold predictions video he just posted on TikTok before I went live. I like Amari Cooper a lot. I like DJ Moore a lot too, don't get me wrong, but he's not on the same level as Amari Cooper. I'm definitely going to Amari Cooper over DJ Moore. Buy Swift low based on this news. No, don't trade for DeAndre Swift, and do not trade away DeAndre Swift right now. Unless you can get an actual good offer in return for DeAndre Swift, don't trade him away, but don't trade for him either. Let's see how this plays out. I would definitely not trade for him. If you're going to trade, I think I lost connection on the TikTok stream. Hopefully that comes back. But if you're going to trade if you're going to trade away DeAndre Swift, I'm fine with that if you're going to get something decent in return. But don't trade away. Don't trade for DeAndre Swift. I would not trade for DeAndre Swift for now. Don't trade for DeAndre Swift. If you can trade him away, do it. But you're probably not going to get enough that I'm going to like that. All right. I'm going to say it first and again, but in Sam we trust, in Walter we trust as well. Who should I start, Godwin or Kupp? By the way, my name's Sam. Classic mistake. Walter's the artificially intelligent algorithm I helped build that powers the WalterPicks app. My name is Sam. So my name is not Walter. Classic mistake. All right. But back to the question. Kupp versus, who is it? Kupp versus Godwin, because they both have competition. Yeah, it's close. I would probably go Godwin, though, over Kupp. It's really close. Kupp's probably safer in terms of PPR, but I like Godwin's ceiling a lot tonight too. Okay. Martin, I've been watching over a year. Keep up the great content. Martin, thanks, man. I do appreciate that. Seriously, I can't believe it's been a year. Should I start Robert Woods or Antonio Brown? This one's close. I'd probably go Robert Woods over Antonio Brown. I would go Robert Woods over Antonio Brown. I just did the 5-star review. Getting a subscription soon. Ty, thanks so much, man. Seriously, this is the number one way you can support me. The 5-star review in the App Store is also completely free. It just takes you 30 seconds. So I do really appreciate that. And if you have the financial ability to go subscribe for $5 a month in the WalterPicks app, then that's the number one way you can support me. But the 5-star review also super, super helpful. All right. I want to recap my thoughts on this game really quickly. We are very close to, we'll say 150 likes. We need 12 more likes. I'm going to lower the bar a tiny bit because I do need to eat dinner before this game, and I do want to share the free prop pick. So we're 12 likes away, guys. Hit the like button on YouTube. When we hit 150 likes, I'm going to give the free prop pick away. I'm not going to set a bad precedent here. I'm not going to be moving the bar down again this season, but it's week 1. I want to share the free player prop. So hit the like button on YouTube. We need 12 more likes on YouTube, and we're going to give away the free prop pick. The Cowboys right now, based on the line I'm looking at, are 9-point underdogs tonight. They are 9-point underdogs. That's a pretty big spread for a team that has a chance to be a top 3 offense in the league this season. And I think it's going to be tough for them to show that tonight. But I do like the Cowboys +9. By the way, I'm not going to bet very much on spreads this season. I'm very transparent about this. If you've been watching me from the beginning, I like to risk my money on props and on DFS, DraftKings, FanDuel, and on fantasy leagues in general. The spreads and over-unders are just so hard to beat. I'm happy to talk about them, though, and I do think that the Cowboys are going to cover this spread if I had to choose. By the way, we do not need to spam the YouTube chat. It's one of the nice parts about YouTube. You don't need to spam the chat. AB or CeeDee Lamb or both. Mario, you have to play CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper tonight if you have them. But I also love Antonio Brown. If you're deciding between Antonio Brown and Robbie Anderson, it's Antonio Brown. If you're deciding between Antonio Brown and a guy like Jerry Jeudy, I still think it's probably Antonio Brown. I think that one's much closer than the Robbie Anderson one, but you got to understand the ceiling for Antonio Brown tonight. Guys, we're 5 likes away on the YouTube live stream. 5 likes, literally just 5 likes. We have 50 people tuned in. Hit the like button if you're watching live. Also hit the subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. If you're watching live on TikTok, the link to our YouTube channel is literally just in the bio. You're like 3 pushes of your finger away from the YouTube live stream, and then you can get us to 150 likes, and I can share the free player prop pick of tonight. I'm excited to share it with you guys. I think it is a very good prop. It's not a lock. It's not a lock in the app, which all that means it's just not above a 30% value. It's at a 28% value based on our simulations and projections for the game tonight. But I am feeling really good about it, and I think the line is too low. We're 4 likes away. Hit the like button. 3 likes away. All right, I will get to some of the questions while we're waiting to hit this 150 like goal that we set. AB or Devontae Smith PPR, I'll get a 5-star. Jackson, if there's one way you can get me to answer your question, it's by saying that you're going to give us a 5-star review in the App Store. Jackson, I do appreciate it. I would probably go Antonio Brown. If there's one week I want to be benching rookies, it's week 1, just to see what their role is like. Devontae Smith's the rookie I'm most confident in, and he obviously has a really good matchup, but I'd still go Antonio Brown because I don't want to bench Devontae Smith, but I will bench him if I have an option like Antonio Brown. By the way, Jackson, nice job for drafting an absolute baller fantasy team because both these guys, Antonio Brown and Devonta Smith, were smash fantasy picks this season. Devonta Smith, the clear number 1 receiver, the most NFL-ready rookie wide receiver on his team, the clear number 1 receiver, and he's with Jalen Hurts, who could take a huge step forward this season. But even if he doesn't, Devonta Smith checks so many boxes. But Antonio Brown also checks so many boxes. He checks so many boxes. We're at 160 likes, guys. So we're gonna talk about the free player prop pick of tonight, and you probably could have guessed it by the amount we talked about him because we talked about him a lot. Let me hide this comment for a second if I can find it again. But I do think that like this line is just way too low. It's too low. It started way too low. It's crept up a little bit, but the free player prop pick of the night is Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. Guys, and this might have crept up to 61. I still like it at 61. It is obviously better at 58.5. But the free player prop pick of the night, it's Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. Listen to these stats. Antonio Brown went over 55 receiving yards in 5 out of his 7 games last season, in which he had at least 4 targets. Just 4 targets. At least 4 targets. 5 out of those 7 games, he went over 55 receiving yards. He averaged in those games 67 yards per game. In 67 yards per game, all just at least 4 targets. And I would be shocked if Antonio Brown doesn't get at least 4 targets tonight. I think he's going to get at least 7 targets tonight. So he averaged 67 yards a game with at least 4 targets. I think he's going to get at least 7 tonight. Not only that, as we talked about in this live stream, he led this team in air yards last season. That's a big deal. The Buccaneers are a lock to be top 3 in NFL deep attempts per game again. They are a lock to be top 3 in NFL deep attempts per game again. They've done it in back-to-back seasons. They're going to do it again this season, and don't be surprised when they throw the ball deep a ton tonight. And Antonio Brown could very well be on the receiving end of those deep targets. He could literally clear this prop with 2 catches. Brown should be able to clear this prop, guys, with ease. All he needs is at least 5 targets. Give him the touches, and he's going to clear this prop with ease. Walter has Antonio Brown projected for 8 targets and 69 yards in week 1. 69 yards and 8 targets in week 1. This is a very reasonable projection for Antonio Brown. This is the median projection. The ceiling projection is he goes over 100 yards, and he goes off in week 1, and everyone wonders why we were drafting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin over Antonio Brown all offseason long. And you can find this prop, guys, in PrizePicks. We have a partnership with them this season. So if you've never used PrizePicks before, use code Walter when you sign up. You'll get a deposit bonus. And their props, their lines are very beatable. I got this prop, Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. I got this at 48.5. Not like I could show you the screenshot, 48.5 2 days ago. And I still like it at 61. I wouldn't go higher than 62 though. 62 is pushing it. You're letting your sportsbook get away with something if you're getting it for 62. I would go 61 or below, but the last I saw, 58.5. Lock it in, guys. Antonio Brown. We're going to hopefully start off 1-for-1 in our player prop picks in the free ones this season. You can get our second player prop pick, by the way, in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. There's another prop for tonight in there. And I like that one a lot as well. I got money on both of them. I put money on all of our prop picks, obviously. But I do think that week 1 is one of the most exploitable weeks in terms of player props. Last year, I think we only missed out of one of like 7 props we identified week 1. I like week 1 a lot. It feels like week 1, the books are the most inaccurate of the entire season. So I do like it. All right, I'll answer a couple more questions here. And I do appreciate hitting that subscribe button, hitting the follow button if you're watching live on TikTok, or the subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. Hit the like button too, guys. This has been a very fun stream. I cannot believe we have football on our television screens in like just about an hour. I got to admit, I don't love the primetime games. I absolutely hate watching commercials. Commercials are like one of my least favorite things in the world, and I don't like watching them. And it feels like every year there's more and more commercials in these primetime games. It's like you watch literally more commercials than game these days in the primetime games. But nonetheless, I'm not going to be complaining because it has been so long since football has been on our screens, and it's back. It's back. So, Jackson, let me get to your question here. I do appreciate the 5-star review in the App Store. Antonio Brown or Devonta Smith? Yeah, I've seen this question. I think before I might have talked about it already, Jackson. I like Antonio Brown over Devonta Smith. Antonio Brown was our free prop pick of the night, over 58.5 receiving yards. Devonta Smith, by the way, his prop is very interesting in week 1 too. I think it's like 48.5 or 55.5 or something. It's below what Antonio Brown's line is. I like Antonio Brown more, and I don't hate benching rookies week 1 in fantasy. Like it makes sense to bench them week 1, especially when you have an option, Jackson, like Antonio Brown. So I'd go Antonio Brown there. Guys, if I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to every single question. And literally, I want to. I hope that comes across. I do want to get to as many questions as I can, but I just can't get to every single question. Justin G, is this the prop for Devonta Smith or Antonio Brown that you're seeing? Can you please clarify, Justin G, what 56.5 means? Oh, here we go. Luke is saying DraftKings is only 54.5 yards for AB right now. LOL, lock it up. Luke, that is just blatant they're just blatantly overlooking this prop. If it's at 54.5 still, Antonio Brown's going to go over 55 yards. I just shared that stat with you. He went over 55 receiving yards in 5 of his 7 games with just at least 4 targets last season. And I'd be pretty shocked if he doesn't get at least 5 targets tonight. Never mind at least 4 targets. So yeah, I like that a lot. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back live Sunday morning from basically whenever I wake up, which is usually very early Sunday mornings, to right till kickoff. So when you wake up and you get breakfast and you drink your coffee and you're ready to get ready for the fantasy football week, you got to tune into the YouTube live stream, the TikTok live stream, right where we are now for the Sunday morning stream. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can on that stream as well. We'll talk every single game. We'll talk start-sit advice and lots of betting, DraftKings, FanDuel advice as well. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the notification button too if you haven't, so make sure you don't miss out on that. Enjoy week 1. Enjoy this first game. We got Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. I like Cowboys +9. I like Antonio Brown, his prop tonight as well. We'll see how that went on the Sunday stream. Guys, have a great rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be back very soon. As always, guys, I'll end the stream on YouTube. I always go like at least 5 minutes longer on the YouTube live streams. Try to get to as many comments as I can in the YouTube live streams. I told you at the beginning of the stream, I said I wasn't going to say it again. I feel like I might go back on that. But we're trying to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers this season, and every single one of you can help us do that. So I do appreciate it. I'll try to we're going to go like rapid fire next 5 minutes. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Ayuk or Gallup, I'll give 5-star. First of all, thanks for the 5-star review. I'd personally go Ayuk over Gallup. Gallup is just a very, very boomer bust. Ayuk is also boomer bust, but I think Ayuk has a little safer floor. All right. Adam Thielen or Jerry Jeudy at flex for week 1 PPR. This one's close. I would go Jeudy, though. Start Jones or Swift. It's got to be Swift. Don't start Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette tonight. The thing about Jones and Fournette, and I said this earlier, but the thing about Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones is good luck guessing which one it's going to be. Seriously, good luck guessing, because it is guessing. It's a complete coin flip. Which of them is going to score the touchdown? Which of them is going to be on the field at the right time? And when Giovanni Bernard's healthy too, like, he's going to have that receiving role. So I don't love either of them, even though they're big favorites tonight, +9. Like, they're 9-point favorites, the Bucs. So that part of it I like. But Swift has more receiving ceiling. So definitely the PPR league, Petty, you got to go. Tyson, Devonta, or Pittman. Stop with the Tyson Williams questions with how good of players you're including in these questions. I like Tyson Williams week 1. I think week 1 is going to be the best Tyson Williams week. But at the same time, week 1 is like the worst week in fantasy to be trying to start Tyson Williams because everyone else is healthy. I would not be starting him over Devonta Smith. I think Pittman's closer, especially Bacon King 71. Funny username. I think that if it's a PPR league, you have to go Devonta Smith here. If it's a half PPR league, you have to go Devonta Smith or Michael Pittman here. And if it's a standard league, then maybe Tyson Williams. That's when, if you don't get any points for catching the ball, then Tyson Williams is going to be better. But Tyson Williams isn't going to catch. Like, he might not end up with a single catch. Noah B, what was the prop pick? I missed it. Yeah, let me pull this up. The free prop pick of the night. There's still time to get it. And apparently it's actually lower than this on DraftKings. The free prop pick, it's Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. Let me see if I can make this here we go. This is pretty cool. Free player prop, Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. All right, now I can pull up the comments too. We got a few minutes left. I'll try to get to the comments. Easy buckets, 11. Who would you start between Antonio Brown, Pittman, Callaway, Galladay? I'll give you 5. Yeah, I'd go Antonio Brown. Appreciate the 5-star review, man. Who is the best Cowboys receiver? I like CeeDee Lamb the most. I think he's the best one. I was drafting CeeDee Lamb ahead of Amari Cooper for that reason. But don't sleep on Amari Cooper. It could easily be Amari Cooper. I won't be shocked at all when Amari Cooper outscores CeeDee Lamb in any games this season or across the whole season. I still like CeeDee Lamb more, but I also really like Amari Cooper. And we're seeing 2 teams tonight, guys, that have a chance to have 2 top 12 wide receivers in fantasy. There's not very many teams in the league that can do it. The Titans are one of them too, but we've seen it happen before. We saw it with Ridley and Julio Jones in the past, and don't be surprised if CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper do that this season with a healthy Dak Prescott and a healthier offensive line. All right. Last few questions. Dak or Prescott? Did you ask this question correctly, Luke? I know I have been live for about an hour and a half. I have at least some excuse to be tired. But Luke, Dak or Prescott, you got to pick this up, man. You got to pick your comment game up, Luke. All right, Daniel, Dak or Tannehill? Yeah, I would probably go Tannehill. You got it. You don't want to bench Tannehill. Tannehill is probably right after. He's probably right after in week 1. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. Tannehill might be next. I would definitely start him over Dak, especially with the matchup for Dak, especially with him coming off the injury. Like, week 1's a good week to bench Dak if you can, and there's very few quarterbacks I'd bench him for. Tannehill's one of them, though. Tannehill's up against a very suspect Cardinals defense, and they're going to score a lot of points. Dak or Hurts, I mean, LOL, OMG. Yeah, Luke, I would go Hurts. The only guys I'm starting over Hurts, I just mentioned those 4 guys. AB or Terry, do not bench Michael. Don't you dare bench Terry McLaurin. Don't you dare bench Terry McLaurin this whole season. Don't bench him. I like Antonio Brown a lot, but what was the free prop? Nathan, you can see it down here. Look, free player prop, Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. We've upped our streaming software this season. So yeah, I'd go with Antonio Brown there. Guys, enjoy this first game. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure none of the players playing tonight are in your flex slot. And I hope all of your fantasy rosters absolutely smash. And I hope we're all rooting for Antonio Brown over 58.5 receiving yards. I'll be back live Sunday morning, guys. Can't wait. We'll talk soon. Have a good rest of your night.